I'm Western Bonim, as you know, and I've been in fashion design for about 20 years.
My name is Andrea Skillings. I am the Fashion Product Development Coordinator here at the Academy.
My name is Geetika Gupta. I've been teaching at the school for a few years now, and I want to say maybe almost 30 years of experience in the fashion industry.
My name is Matthew Gehring. I've been teaching at the Academy since about 2008 or so, on and off, and I've been full-time here for 2 years, going on 3. I'm a visual artist and I work primarily in textiles, fabrics and things like that. So I make quilts, I make paintings and all kinds of different stuff like that. And this is a fun way for me to engage with younger people in, things I love. So it's selfish of me to do this job.
I went to Parsons School of Design, got a BFA in fashion design, went into the industry for about 7 years, and now I'm teaching fashion design here.
I started in New York. I worked as an assistant product developer in children's wear, and I started at Talbot's Kids. I eventually moved my way into an associate's position at a layette company, and eventually started running an entire department as the director of product development for a girls' dress company.
I worked in all sorts of fields. I worked in couture, I worked in children's wear, I worked in accessory design, just a whole lot of different locations and categories.
I would say the most fulfilling thing is when I see my students grow, when I see them grow in confidence, grow in ability, and when they really start to recognize what they're good at and they start to own that and they start to be really inspired about what they're doing.
It's kind of interesting to watch students kind of develop their ideas, and you can kind of train them in the skill set in order to get them to be a professional level.
I feel my role is to open students to what's going on in the world. So when all of a sudden, you see that connection happen, I think that's the most fulfilling thing for me.
You guys are at a special time in your life where things are changing for you, and you're like trying to come up with what you're going to do, and you're crafting your identity and everything, which is something that I really love to be a part of. To be a part of someone's time when they're crafting their identity, I think it's just like a hugely rewarding thing.
Well, I used to have my camps for kids, as you know, and that was a fashion STEM school where kids got to learn how to enjoy things like math and science and all of that, but through fashion.
Until the last couple of years, I worked as a trend consultant. But there's a lot of Asian companies that want to break into the United States, and I would help them with shopping reports, trend development, to help them to develop products that were suitable for this market.
I was an adjunct faculty for LAM College in New York City. It's a fashion business school, and that's when I sort of identified the fact that really teaching is something that I was really passionate about.
As an artist, you are constantly hustling, just like as a designer often has to do. My most recent business was building giant domes for people that go to Burning Man. Well, it's gonna nosedive if we don't change our habits. That's one big problem that we're having. We're at a really special time right now where people are concerned about environmental issues, but the overall structure of the industry is not changing, in my opinion.
Now the customer is a lot more interested in how we can protect the environment, how we can protect all those involved and kind of give back.
Putting your values ahead of profits is going to be huge. I don't think anyone's going to be able to survive in this industry if it's all about just selling product, because there's too much competition of people just selling product.
I mean, fashion industry itself is moving slowly, as it always does, to adapt to technology, and I think that's because fashion designers are also artists, and artists are more concerned with things that feel good, look good, have meaning and purpose. Because of fast fashion, landfill is 50% more than it used to be, and we use the equivalent of half the Mediterranean Ocean every year just to dye clothes.
It's very difficult, I think, for people to change the way they work, but we do need to think about our impact on the world. as an individual, as a brand, as a business.
This is the direction of the world, and this is what's important to people. So these are the initial people that can lead that pack. So they should be taking that into consideration and kind of reinforcing that environment.
I don't believe it's moral necessarily. I think that might be the wrong way to phrase it because it invites argument. Moral and ethical issues are grounds for dissension, argument. It's not an argument. We need to think of it ourselves as a survival obligation, right? So you don't. I say this without cursing. You don't poop where you eat, kind of thing. Yeah, people respond to creativity, right? That's why people steal artist designs all the time. Remember H&M getting in trouble with that most recently?
Someone does something fresh and then everyone jumps in to copy it. And perhaps the person who actually came up with the creative idea is not necessarily making the money. But I think there's always room for new ideas.
I think what's challenging today is that you really have to take into account profit. So instead of just being truly innovative and truly creative, you have to be able to kind of work both sides.
Like all things, you have to be brave and you have to have courage to stand out and to remember the most quintessential thing of any inventor, any visionary, which is that if you're trying to recreate the future, there are no maps and there are no guidelines because you're creating the future. The fashion calendar is ridiculous.
It's obviously broken, right? We've known that for a while, especially since we're coming out with collections called pre-summer, pre-fall.
With global warming and climate change, who wants, a really, really warm camel hair coat in July?
We really want to think about when our customers are shopping. Everyone's collecting data. How do you use that data? I think the calendars, a lot of people have disrupted it already, and I think it's going to totally disappear in some time.
With customer demand, I think it is really important for people to respond quickly and adjust their calendar. I will also say, having that I have a product developer's head, I question the quality that we can produce with speed to market.
Unless we can change the supply chain to localize it and to decentralize it from problematic economies, I don't really think that fast fashion will respond to any external calendar changes that the industry decides on.
Because of fast fashion and influencers, the whole world has gotten to, has had the opportunity to become educated about taste. But I think because there's been so many influencers, people are searching for something new.
I've recently noticed some level of people getting bored with influencers. People are beginning to question influencers, and it really depends who your target customer is.
I mean, it's no different than when the internet started. We were all about e-commerce. We thought it was this great, new, innovative thing. Well, now it's, Instagram and all, so it's going to continue. It's definitely not a fad.
I don't find them very interesting, number one. I don't find anything that I really see in that whole world creative, per se. And I also find that if you pick it apart, it's manufactured personalities, right? It's stuff that is being made for them. Let's just stop that there.
I hope that this video helps inform students, and please let them know that they're welcome to reach out to me anytime. My personal base of knowledge of what the future holds is growing every day, and I'm always happy to share that information.
I think it's very important to go out of your comfort zone and really look for other things that you're maybe not expecting. And look around because the world is big.
Never stop trying to be creative. Always try and think outside of the box. Don't feel limited to what's happening here. You never know what's going to come. Always take everything that is provided around you as an opportunity to build yourself further.
Read once in a while. Reading on screens is not the same thing, and being able to take in complex ideas takes effort and exercise, and you're not just going to get it, right? It's not going to be fed to you. You have to take it. You have to make it happen.